Have you ever been startled by a lizard scurrying across your wall, only to feel a sense of mystery linger long after it's gone? Perhaps you've wondered if there's something more to its appearance, a message hidden beneath the ordinary. In Buddhism, even the smallest encounters, like seeing a lizard in your home, can carry profound meaning. Could it be that the universe, in its quiet wisdom, is speaking to you through this unexpected visitor? Today, we invite you on a journey to uncover the deeper message that this tiny creature might be delivering to your life. You see, in Buddhist philosophy, nothing is insignificant. Every event, no matter how small, is woven with purpose, inviting us to explore the threads of karma, the cycles of life, and the nature of change. The universe often sends signs that invite us to pause, reflect, and understand ourselves a little more deeply. Here's the hook. What if that lizard's presence is no coincidence? What if it's a gentle nudge, urging you toward a path of transformation and growth? Imagine, for a moment, that this little creature isn't simply passing through but has entered your space with a message. Perhaps it's urging you to reflect on aspects of your life that may be ready for change. In Buddhist teachings, lizards are symbolic of adaptability, resilience, and the capacity to shed the past and embrace the new. Just as a lizard sheds its skin, it may be encouraging you to release old patterns and make space for something new. Maybe it's time to let go of attachments that no longer serve your growth, to move forward with a lighter heart and an open mind. In this video, we'll explore the fascinating world of Buddhist symbolism and delve into how seemingly ordinary events can be gateways to extraordinary insights. We'll uncover the spiritual significance of lizards, peeling back layers of meaning that go beyond the physical world. As we journey together, we'll tap into Buddhist concepts like karma, the cyclical nature of existence, and the impermanence of all things, shedding light on how these teachings might reveal hidden truths about our own lives. So, stay with us as we unravel the mystery of the lizard's presence in your home. Is it a sign of transformation? A gentle reminder to adapt and renew? Or perhaps an invitation from the universe, calling you to live more mindfully and connect with the wisdom of the present moment? If you've ever felt that the universe communicates through subtle signs, this video is for you. Let's walk this path together and see what truths await in the most unexpected places. By the end, you might just find yourself viewing every small moment, every tiny encounter, as part of a larger journey of self-discovery. Join us, and let's explore what the universe might be trying to tell you. In Buddhism, animals hold a unique place as sentient beings, each embodying wisdom that often goes unnoticed. Lizards, in particular, carry a quiet symbolism that resonates with core Buddhist values such as resilience, adaptation, and transformation. These creatures, though often unseen or overlooked, reflect profound lessons that align closely with the spiritual journey. So, when a lizard enters your home, it might be more than just a coincidence. It could be a gentle nudge to reflect on your life and consider what changes might be necessary for growth and inner peace. A lizard's life is a testament to the power of transformation. These creatures periodically shed their skin, a process that is necessary for their survival and growth. In a similar way, the appearance of a lizard in your life may symbolize the need to shed old patterns, beliefs, or fears that no longer serve you. Transformation, in Buddhist teachings, is essential for spiritual progress. Just as a lizard knows when it's time to release what no longer fits, we, too, are encouraged to let go of anything that restricts our personal evolution. Have you ever felt yourself clinging to something out of habit, even though it may no longer bring you joy or fulfillment? Perhaps it's a job that feels stifling, a relationship that has grown distant, or a belief you once held but now question. In Buddhist teachings, clinging is one of the causes of suffering. When we cling, we resist the natural flow of life, which is inherently transient and ever-changing. The lizard's presence may serve as a reminder that life's beauty lies in its impermanence, and to experience it fully, we must allow ourselves to change and adapt along with it. The Buddhist concept of karma also ties into this symbolism. Karma is the law of cause and effect, a cycle that governs the rebirth and renewal of all beings. Every action, thought, and intention sets in motion a chain of events, leading us to new experiences and lessons. Just as a lizard sheds its skin to make way for the new, we, too, must shed outdated patterns to progress along our karmic path. This isn't always easy, but the presence of a lizard may be a gentle nudge from the universe, urging us to look inward and assess what we need to release in order to continue moving forward. In Buddhism, resilience is also key to navigating life's ups and downs, a quality embodied by the lizard. Lizards thrive in harsh environments, surviving in places where food and water may be scarce. They adapt to their surroundings, finding ways to blend in and remain unnoticed. Their resilience serves as a reminder that, no matter the challenges we face, we too can find strength within ourselves to adapt and endure. When we encounter a lizard, we might ask ourselves if we're harnessing this inner resilience. Are we flexible and willing to adapt? Or are we resisting life's flow out of fear or attachment? Furthermore, lizards are masters of adaptation. In Buddhism, the ability to adapt and find balance is closely aligned with the practice of the middle way, a path that avoids extremes and encourages a harmonious approach to life. Adaptability is crucial for growth, as it allows us to respond to the ebb and flow of our experiences without becoming overly attached or averse. In moments when life becomes unpredictable, the lizard's presence can remind us to remain flexible, to adjust our perspectives and actions as needed without losing sight of our inner purpose. For instance, imagine a scenario in which someone holds tightly to a certain outcome, such as the desire for a promotion, and becomes frustrated when it doesn't materialize. The appearance of a lizard in such a moment might be a sign to release that attachment and open oneself to other possibilities. When we cling to specific outcomes, we often close ourselves off to opportunities that lie outside our expectations. The lizard's lesson is to embrace life's shifts, trusting that by adapting, we can find new pathways aligned with our true purpose. Additionally, lizards remind us of the importance of renewal. Just as they shed their skin regularly, we, too, are invited to release what no longer serves us to make space for personal growth. This process may be uncomfortable, but it's essential for transformation. In Buddhism, letting go is a form of liberation. It frees us from the burdens of the past and allows us to embrace the present moment with openness and gratitude. Think about the aspects of your life that feel restrictive. Are there any beliefs or self-imposed limitations that have outlived their purpose? The lizard's presence is an invitation to renew ourselves by letting go of the old and welcoming the new. Reflect on any situation in your life that feels stagnant or unfulfilling. The lizard, with its quiet resilience and capacity for renewal, may be signaling that it's time to examine these areas closely. In Buddhist thought, the act of observing oneself and one's experiences with mindfulness is the foundation of spiritual growth. Self-awareness allows us to see where we may be clinging or resisting change, revealing the areas that need transformation. In this way, the lizard's appearance encourages us to turn inward, fostering a deeper understanding of our desires, fears, and patterns. The cycle of rebirth in Buddhism further connects to the symbolism of the lizard. Just as life itself moves through cycles of birth, death, and rebirth, we are constantly evolving. Each ending is a new beginning, a chance to rewrite our stories and align more closely with our true purpose. When a lizard appears, it may be a subtle reminder of this cycle, urging us to trust in the process of letting go and beginning anew. With each rebirth, we can choose to live with greater intention, wisdom, and compassion. Ultimately, the lizard teaches us that change is not something to be feared but embraced. Transformation is part of our nature, just as it is for the lizard. In Buddhism, enlightenment is often described as a process of shedding the layers of illusion that keep us from understanding our true nature. The lizard's journey of renewal is a mirror of this process, reminding us that to grow, we must release the parts of ourselves that no longer align with who we are becoming. In summary, the spiritual significance of the lizard in Buddhism is a powerful reminder of resilience, adaptability, and the beauty of transformation. It encourages us to reflect on our lives, to release what no longer serves us, and to embrace the path of renewal and growth. In doing so, we align ourselves with the natural flow of the universe, finding peace and purpose in the continuous process of change. In Buddhism, impermanence, or anicca, is one of the core teachings, expressing that everything in life is transient and constantly changing. Nothing is fixed or permanent. All things arise, exist, and pass away. When we encounter a lizard, this principle of impermanence is vividly embodied. The lizard, swift and adaptable, shifts from place to place, blending seamlessly into its environment. Its very nature reminds us of life's ceaseless motion, urging us to recognize and accept the flow of change rather than resist it. Imagine a river, continuously moving, always adapting to the obstacles it encounters, whether rocks, bends, or fallen trees. Similarly, life itself is in constant motion, and we, like the river, are called to move and adapt. Yet, how often do we find ourselves trying to hold on to moments, clinging to our ideas, relationships, or achievements, hoping to freeze them in time? This resistance, Buddhism teaches, is a source of suffering because it opposes the natural order of life. The lizard's quiet presence invites us to consider this. Are we flowing with life, or are we fighting against it? The sight of a lizard can serve as a gentle reminder to examine our own relationship with change. Are we, like the lizard, adapting with ease, or are we rooted in past attachments? The lizard's capacity to move swiftly, to shed what no longer serves it, and to camouflage as needed, embodies the very essence of resilience and adaptability. When we witness this, it may inspire us to let go of rigid mindsets or outdated beliefs that no longer align with our growth. Let's take, for example, the story of a monk who encountered a lizard in his monastery. For years, this monk had been holding tightly to a set of beliefs he'd adopted early in his spiritual journey. These beliefs once served him well, giving him structure and discipline. Yet over time, they began to feel limiting, keeping him from embracing new teachings. One evening, he saw a lizard dart across the path, and in that moment, he was struck by its effortless movement, its freedom, and flexibility. The lizard's presence sparked a realization. Like the lizard, he too needed to let go of what he had outgrown. Inspired, he released his attachment to his old beliefs, opening himself to new lessons. In doing so, he discovered a deeper understanding of his spiritual path. This story illustrates the power of impermanence and the peace that can arise when we surrender to life's natural ebb and flow. It's a reminder that clinging to past identities, achievements, or relationships can be a barrier to our growth. Like the monk, we might also find moments when life nudges us to release what we once held tightly. The appearance of a lizard may well be one of those gentle nudges, encouraging us to trust the process of transformation. In Buddhism, embracing impermanence is not about passively accepting loss or change, but about actively engaging with life's dynamic nature. This approach teaches us to experience each moment fully and to let go when it passes, just as the lizard moves from place to place without hesitation. In relationships, for example, it's easy to become attached to people or circumstances as they are, hoping they'll remain unchanged. But when we accept that all things are transient, we can love more fully and openly, without the fear of losing them. This love, rooted in the understanding of impermanence, is one of the purest forms of compassion because it allows others the freedom to grow and change. In our daily lives, resisting change often manifests as stress, anxiety, or dissatisfaction. We hold on to a version of ourselves or our lives that may no longer fit, clinging to a job that doesn't fulfill us, a habit that hinders our growth, or an idea of success that feels empty. When we embrace the wisdom of impermanence, we can begin to see these attachments as temporary, opening ourselves to new paths and possibilities. In this way, impermanence becomes a doorway to liberation. Consider a time in your own life when a change you initially resisted turned out to be beneficial. Perhaps you were forced to leave a job, move to a new place, or end a relationship, only to find later that it led to unexpected growth and happiness. The lizard, with its ability to adapt instantly, symbolizes this potential for transformation. even in moments that feel uncomfortable or challenging. In many ways, the Buddhist path itself is a journey of embracing change and letting go. The Buddha taught that clinging is the root of suffering. When we resist life's flow, we limit ourselves, becoming stuck in a cycle of wanting things to remain the same. The lizard's lesson is simple yet profound. To experience life fully, we must allow ourselves to be present in each moment and release each moment as it passes. Like the lizard, we can learn to shed old skins, beliefs, and fears, renewing ourselves with each step along our journey. Ultimately, impermanence teaches us that life's true essence is movement and change. Just as the seasons shift and the river flows, we too are in constant transformation. When we embrace this reality, we find that change no longer feels threatening. Instead, it becomes a source of possibility, a chance to grow in ways we might never have imagined. The sight of a lizard, therefore, is more than a mere encounter. It's a call to awaken to the present and to the beauty of impermanence. By observing the lizard, we're reminded of our own capacity to move, adapt, and thrive amidst life's changes. Embracing impermanence is an invitation to live with courage and grace, knowing that, like the lizard, we're all part of a larger cycle of transformation, one that ultimately leads us closer to freedom and self-realization. Lizards are extraordinary symbols of adaptation, embodying qualities of resilience, flexibility, and renewal. In nature, they are uniquely equipped to survive when threatened by predators. A lizard may detach its tail to escape, a defense mechanism known as autotomy. It doesn't lament the loss, but simply regrows the tail in time. This act of release and regeneration embodies the Buddhist teaching of letting go, encouraging us to recognize that sometimes survival, and even growth, depends on our ability to release what no longer serves us. Shedding what holds us back, whether it's attachments, outdated beliefs, or unproductive habits, is essential for personal transformation. Just as a lizard sheds its skin as it grows, we too are invited to let go of the old to make room for the new. In Buddhism, this process of renewal and release is seen as vital to our spiritual and personal development. Yet, it's a challenging practice. Human nature often inclines us to hold onto what feels familiar and predictable, even if it restricts our progress. We cling to routines, beliefs, and identities that may have once been useful but now confine us. The lizard's example nudges us gently but firmly toward releasing these attachments to allow growth to occur. This is a powerful reminder that adaptation is not a passive act. It requires courage and conscious effort. In many cases, adapting to change or embracing renewal means facing uncertainty or stepping into the unknown. Consider someone who remains in an unfulfilling job out of fear of change. The work may no longer inspire them, but they choose to stay because it's familiar. Another person may remain in a relationship that has lost its meaning, holding on to memories of the past rather than recognizing the reality of the present. Both situations reflect a resistance to adaptation, a clinging that, according to Buddhist teachings, ultimately leads to suffering. The Buddha taught that clinging and attachment are sources of suffering because they bind us to expectations and create resistance to life's natural flow. Imagine the energy a lizard expends if it were to cling to its damaged tail rather than release it. The attachment could be a liability, making it more vulnerable to predators. By letting go, the lizard not only escapes, but also conserves its energy for survival and growth. Similarly, when we release what no longer serves us, we free ourselves from limitations, allowing for greater possibilities and inner freedom. This principle of renewal through release extends beyond physical actions to our mental and emotional lives. The beliefs we hold, the stories we tell ourselves, and the habits we build over time can all become mental tails that need shedding. For example, someone may carry the belief that they aren't capable of achieving a particular goal, an idea they might have adopted long ago but never questioned. This belief becomes a limitation, holding them back from pursuing opportunities or embracing new challenges. In this way, the lizard's process of renewal is an invitation to examine our own beliefs and behaviors and ask ourselves, what am I holding on to that no longer benefits me? Adaptation, as shown by the lizard, is also about learning to embrace change with grace. It doesn't just release its tail in moments of crisis, it also adjusts to different environments, blending into its surroundings to survive. In Buddhist philosophy, this type of flexibility aligns with the concept of the middle way, which emphasizes a balanced approach to life. This balance is about avoiding extremes, whether it's an excessive attachment to comfort or an intense aversion to discomfort. The middle way encourages us to remain open and adaptable, finding harmony in the present moment without clinging to fixed ideas or rigid plans. Take, for instance, a person who resists moving to a new city for a job opportunity because they're attached to their current home and routine. They may be clinging to comfort, and in doing so, they close off the potential for growth that comes with a new environment and new challenges. The lizard's message here is clear. When we adapt to life's shifts, embracing opportunities rather than resisting them, we open ourselves to growth that might otherwise be out of reach. In Buddhism, this ability to adapt and renew ourselves is closely tied to impermanence. Everything in life is in a state of flux, and true contentment comes from understanding and accepting this. The lizard's ability to let go and renew itself is a testament to the power of impermanence. It doesn't resist the changes that life brings but flows with them. For us, the practice of renewal requires mindfulness, a conscious effort to observe our lives without attachment, accepting each moment for what it is. By practicing mindfulness, we cultivate the awareness needed to recognize when it's time to let go. Consider a familiar story in Buddhist teachings about a monk who carried an old, torn robe for years. Even though it no longer served him well, he believed it was part of his identity, a symbol of his humility and discipline. But one day, after much encouragement, he finally released it and found a new robe that allowed him to feel both comfortable and humble. The monk's attachment to his old robe is symbolic of how we often hold onto ideas, roles, or possessions that have outlived their purpose. Like the lizard shedding its skin, the monk's decision to let go opened him to a renewed sense of freedom and alignment with his purpose. This story echoes the lizard's lesson on the importance of detachment and renewal. Often, the things we hold on to are not just physical but also emotional or mental burdens, unresolved guilt, lingering resentment, outdated identities. In letting go, we free ourselves from these constraints, allowing our true nature to emerge. Renewal is a powerful act of self-compassion. By letting go of the old, we make space for a fresh perspective, a new beginning. The lizard also teaches us about the power of trust in the renewal process. When it lets go of its tail, it trusts that another will grow in its place. This trust is a reminder that when we release attachments or step away from what feels safe, we are not left empty but are creating space for new experiences, growth, and transformation. Trusting in this process of renewal, as the lizard does, is a profound practice in Buddhism, as it encourages us to lean into the unknown with faith and openness. Ultimately, the lizard's message is one of hope and empowerment. Adaptation and renewal are not just survival mechanisms. They are pathways to becoming more aligned with our highest selves. When we let go of what no longer serves us, we allow for a transformation that brings us closer to inner freedom and peace. The lizard's quiet resilience, its ability to regenerate and thrive, reminds us that we, too, are capable of renewal. Embracing this process is an act of courage, a leap toward a life where growth is celebrated and change is met with grace. Lizards are remarkable creatures, finely attuned to their surroundings and acutely aware of even the smallest movements or shifts in their environment. This heightened sensitivity allows them to respond instantly to changes and to protect themselves. In Buddhism, this alertness and awareness of surroundings serve as a powerful metaphor for mindfulness, the practice of being fully present and engaged with the here and now. Observing a lizard's natural state of readiness reminds us to slow down, pay attention, and connect with our own lives in a deeper, more intentional way. In the fast-paced rhythm of modern life, it's easy to get caught up in routines, tasks, and distractions, often at the expense of tuning into our surroundings and our inner selves. The lizard's quiet presence encourages us to reflect. How often do we truly notice the world around us? How often are we fully present? rather than lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. Ask yourself, are you present in this moment, or are you preoccupied? Consider this. Imagine walking through a beautiful garden, but being too busy with your phone to notice the flowers blooming or the birds singing. This is how many of us move through our lives, present in body but elsewhere in mind. The lizard's acute awareness calls us to bring our attention back to the present moment, to open our senses and notice the details that often go unnoticed. By practicing mindfulness, we train ourselves to observe without judgment, to see things as they are, and to become more responsive to life's subtle cues. Mindfulness doesn't mean we need to sit in silence or meditate all day. It's about cultivating a sense of awareness in everything we do. It's the practice of noticing small details and tuning into the sensations of the present moment. For instance, while drinking tea, mindfulness involves fully experiencing the warmth of the cup in your hands, the taste of the tea, and the quiet moments of reflection it offers. This kind of presence, much like the lizard's alertness to its surroundings, allows us to engage more fully with life and to appreciate each moment as it unfolds. In Buddhist teachings, mindfulness is often likened to the process of awakening, a path that encourages us to be attuned to both our inner world, thoughts, emotions, sensations, and our outer world, the people, environments, and circumstances we encounter. By tuning into these experiences without judgment or attachment, we can respond to life more harmoniously. Just as a lizard instinctively senses shifts in its environment, we too can develop an intuitive sense for the subtle changes in our own lives. What signs might we be missing? Many of us experience moments of unease or discomfort, an instinctual feeling that something isn't quite right. Yet, in the hustle and bustle of daily life, we might dismiss these feelings, rationalizing them as stress or fatigue. The lizard's message is clear. Don't ignore your intuition. If you've been feeling a subtle discomfort in a situation or a quiet sense of resistance to a decision, listen to that inner voice. Mindfulness teaches us that these signals are often our subconscious mind communicating with us, highlighting areas of our lives that need attention or adjustment. For example, if you feel uneasy about a particular relationship, mindfulness invites you to explore those feelings rather than brush them aside. Why do you feel this way? What is your intuition telling you? By tuning into these signals, we gain insight into our deeper values, needs, and aspirations. Practicing mindfulness enables us to align our choices with what truly matters to us, making decisions that support our highest well-being. Another powerful benefit of mindfulness is that it brings us into closer connection with the people around us. In our busy lives, we often engage in conversations while distracted by other thoughts or activities, preventing us from fully hearing and understanding others. The practice of mindfulness encourages us to be fully present in our interactions, to listen deeply and empathetically. Just as a lizard is fully engaged with its environment, mindfulness allows us to be fully present with others, fostering deeper and more meaningful connections. Mindfulness as a source of clarity and peace. One of the most valuable gifts of mindfulness is the sense of clarity and inner peace it cultivates. When we are present, we are less likely to become overwhelmed by the noise and chaos of life. Instead, we find ourselves responding with calm and discernment. Mindfulness helps us identify the moments where we are mindlessly reacting to situations rather than consciously choosing how to respond. By bringing attention to these moments, we gain a greater sense of control over our emotions and actions. Imagine a stressful situation at work. In the absence of mindfulness, we might react impulsively, perhaps out of frustration or anxiety. However, if we approach the situation mindfully, pausing, breathing, and observing our thoughts without judgment, we create a space in which we can choose our response thoughtfully. This shift from reaction to mindful response is transformative, allowing us to handle life's challenges with more grace and resilience. Creating a mindfulness practice inspired by the lizard's awareness. The lizard's sensitivity can inspire us to develop our own mindfulness practice. One simple yet powerful exercise is the practice of mindful observation. Find a quiet space where you can observe something in nature, a tree, a plant, or even a small creature like a lizard if you're lucky enough to encounter one. Observe it carefully, noting its details without any need to analyze or interpret. As you focus, let go of thoughts about the past or future, anchoring yourself entirely in the present. This practice can be extended to all aspects of life. When you eat, savor each bite. When you walk, feel each step. When you're with loved ones, truly listen. Through these small acts of mindfulness, we build a foundation for deeper awareness and appreciation, allowing us to live each moment fully rather than rushing through life's beauty. Mindfulness as a path to authentic living. At its core, mindfulness is about returning to our authentic selves, living in alignment with our true nature. Just as the lizard instinctively navigates its world with awareness, we too have an innate ability to connect with our surroundings and our inner selves. However, this connection requires intentional practice, a willingness to slow down, to be present, and to listen to the wisdom within. By embracing mindfulness, we transform our relationship with ourselves and with life itself. We become more in tune with our values, our goals, and our highest aspirations. Instead of being swept away by the demands of the external world, we learn to move with purpose, cultivating a life of awareness, clarity, and peace. The lizard's quiet, attentive presence in the world is a beautiful reminder that mindfulness is not just a practice. It's a way of being that brings us closer to the truth of who we are. Lizards are masters of timing and silence. In the wild, they move with stealth, revealing themselves only when the moment is right. This deliberate approach, taught by nature's rhythms, reminds us of the power of patience and waiting. In a world where we're constantly pressured to react instantly, the lizard teaches us to pause, to observe our surroundings, and to act only when we're certain. This wisdom of timing and silence is invaluable, particularly in an age where immediate responses are often valued over thoughtful ones. Consider the lizard's behavior. It doesn't move unless necessary, conserving energy and minimizing exposure to danger. When it does act, each movement is measured, intentional, and purposeful. This mirrors the Buddhist teaching of mindful action, the art of acting with awareness, avoiding haste or impulsivity. By applying this approach in our lives, we learn to reserve our energy, using it wisely and effectively, rather than scattering it in hasty reactions. Imagine you're in a challenging conversation. Often, in tense moments, we feel compelled to respond quickly, driven by emotion rather than thoughtfulness. This can lead to misunderstandings, arguments, and regrets. The lizard's lesson here is simple yet profound. Wait, take a breath, observe, and let silence create space for clarity. By allowing a moment to pass, we gain the opportunity to respond rather than react, leading to better communication and more harmonious interactions. In silence, we find clarity. In Buddhist teachings, silence is more than the absence of sound. It is a state of inner quiet that fosters clarity and insight. When we embrace silence, we allow ourselves to reflect and reconnect with our inner wisdom. In this quiet space, we can examine our thoughts and feelings without judgment, gaining a clearer understanding of our motivations and intentions. The lizard, in its stillness, shows us that true power often lies in restraint, in choosing not to act until the time is right. In our daily lives, we often overlook the importance of silence. Social media, news, and constant notifications urge us to respond immediately, to be in the know and active at all times. But this relentless engagement can cloud our judgment and exhaust our mental energy. Practicing silence, like the lizard does, is a way to reclaim our mental clarity and maintain our emotional balance. Silence allows us to detach from the noise and return to a state of centeredness. This practice of silence and patience is especially valuable when making major life decisions. Important choices require careful thought and contemplation. Yet, we may feel pressured by others' expectations or our own desire for certainty. Here, the lizard's message is to resist that pressure and allow time for reflection. By delaying immediate action, we open ourselves to insights that might otherwise be missed. In the quiet spaces, we can weigh our options, assess our feelings, and align our actions with our true values. The art of timing in relationships. Timing is equally crucial in our relationships. In conversations with loved ones, timing and silence can significantly impact understanding and connection. Hasty words, spoken without thought, can harm relationships and create distance. Conversely, when we listen deeply and choose our words carefully, we foster trust and intimacy. The lizard's ability to move only when it feels safe reflects a mindful approach to communication, speaking only when words are necessary and beneficial. Consider a situation where someone close to you expresses their frustration or disappointment. It can be tempting to immediately respond with advice, defense, or solutions. Yet, by holding space and allowing silence, we communicate empathy and respect. This pause allows the other person to feel heard, often leading to a deeper connection and resolution. Practicing patience and silence helps us build stronger relationships based on understanding rather than quick fixes or impulsive reactions. In a broader sense, the power of timing extends beyond relationships to include opportunities and life events. Not every opportunity needs to be seized at once. Sometimes, waiting can yield a better result. Just as the lizard waits for the right moment to move or catch its prey, we, too, can benefit from discerning the ideal time to act. In Buddhism, this practice of waiting for the right moment aligns with right action, one of the principles of the Eightfold Path. It's about acting with intention, with an awareness of both timing and consequence. The wisdom of choosing an action. There are moments in life when the wisest course is to do nothing at all. In Buddhist philosophy, this concept is sometimes referred to as wu wei, or action through non-action. It encourages us to recognize that sometimes the best path forward is to allow events to unfold naturally. The lizard embodies this principle, staying motionless for long periods, observing, waiting, and choosing an action over unnecessary exertion. In practice, choosing an action doesn't mean passivity. Rather, it's a conscious decision to conserve energy and avoid unnecessary conflict or effort. For example, if you're facing a problem that seems unresolvable in the present moment, it may be wise to step back and let time provide the solution. Often, in the space of waiting, new information comes to light, or circumstances shift in ways that clarify our path. The lizard's stillness is a reminder that sometimes the best answer lies in patience and trust. Embracing patience and silence in modern life. Incorporating patience and silence into our lives requires intentional practice. Begin by setting aside moments each day for quiet reflection, free from distractions. You might start with a few minutes of silence in the morning or evening, simply observing your thoughts and letting them settle. Over time, this practice will cultivate a natural sense of timing and patience, allowing you to approach life's challenges with a calm, centered perspective. The lizard's lesson is to honor these moments of silence, to hold back from immediate reactions, and to trust in the wisdom of waiting. In doing so, we create space for insight, compassion, and understanding. By embracing the lizard's way of moving stealthily, revealing itself only when safe, we learn the power of patience and silence, a timeless lesson in a world that never stops moving. Lizards periodically shed their skin as they grow, leaving behind what no longer serves them to make way for a fresh, renewed self. This natural cycle of renewal is a powerful metaphor for personal growth, urging us to examine the areas in our own lives where we may feel trapped or stagnant. It's a call to action, an invitation to shed the old and step boldly into a new phase of our journey. When we see a lizard, it can serve as a reminder that breaking free from stagnation isn't just a choice, but a necessary part of growth. Stagnation, whether in our thoughts, habits, or relationships, can weigh us down, keeping us from realizing our true potential. Imagine you're carrying a heavy backpack filled with outdated beliefs, old fears, and habits that no longer serve you. This baggage may feel familiar, but it prevents you from moving forward with ease and clarity. The lizard's process of shedding shows us that by releasing these burdens, we create space for growth, renewal, and transformation. This process, however, requires courage. Shedding old layers can be uncomfortable, even painful at times, as it forces us to confront aspects of ourselves that we might rather ignore. Just as the lizard must instinctively release its old skin to continue growing, we must also learn to let go of parts of ourselves that no longer align with who we are becoming. Perhaps it's a limiting belief that has held you back for years, or a fear of failure that has kept you from pursuing a dream. Recognizing these old skins and having the courage to release them is the first step toward breaking free from stagnation. Ask yourself, what is it that I am holding on to that no longer serves me? This question can open doors to self-awareness, helping you identify areas of your life where growth is needed. It might be a job that feels unfulfilling, a relationship that no longer brings joy, or a self-image that has become outdated. Identifying these areas is the beginning of the transformation process, allowing you to see what needs to be released in order to make room for something new. Take, for example, the case of a person who has always defined themselves by a particular career. Over the years, this identity becomes a comfort zone, a place of safety, but as time passes, they may feel a growing sense of dissatisfaction, a desire for something different. Yet, the fear of change or the comfort of routine keeps them in place, preventing them from pursuing new opportunities. The lizard's lesson here is clear. True growth often requires stepping out of familiar confines, letting go of a past identity, and embracing the unknown. In Buddhism, the practice of non-attachment teaches us that holding too tightly to any identity, relationship, or situation can lead to suffering. When we cling to something out of habit or fear, we limit ourselves, closing off potential paths for growth. Like the lizard shedding its skin, we're encouraged to adopt an attitude of non-attachment, to recognize that everything in life has a time and place. By allowing ourselves to let go, we create the freedom to evolve, to change, and to discover new aspects of ourselves. Imagine the possibilities if you embraced this opportunity for transformation. What new doors could open if you allowed yourself to release what no longer serves you? Without the weight of old fears and limiting beliefs, we are free to explore our fullest potential. This is the essence of breaking free from stagnation, allowing yourself to move forward unencumbered by the past, embracing each moment as a fresh beginning. This shedding process isn't a one-time event, it's a continuous journey. Just as the lizard regularly sheds its skin throughout its life, we too must periodically examine our lives, reassessing what we're holding on to and why. This ongoing process helps us stay true to our evolving selves, adapting to the natural flow of life rather than remaining anchored to old patterns. Think of it as a journey of continuous self-renewal, a path that allows us to remain dynamic, open, and receptive to new experiences. Consider someone who is trapped in a cycle of negative self-talk, constantly doubting their abilities or worth. These thoughts become part of their internal skin, an ingrained belief that colors their perception of themselves and their potential. To break free, they must identify these thoughts as old, worn-out beliefs that no longer reflect their true self. The courage to release these internal barriers and embrace a mindset of self-compassion and confidence is transformative. In this way, breaking free from stagnation isn't only about external changes, it's also about transforming our inner world, aligning our thoughts and beliefs with the person we aspire to be. There's a Buddhist parable about a monk who spent years in a single room, meditating and studying without venturing outside. Over time, he felt a sense of stagnation but resisted change, believing that his small space was essential for his practice. One day, he was inspired by a lizard shedding its skin near his window, and he suddenly realized that his attachment to his room was holding him back. Inspired by the lizard's natural instinct to release what no longer served it, he ventured beyond his comfort zone, discovering new insights and a renewed sense of purpose. This story reminds us that sometimes, to grow spiritually and personally, we must shed our old confines and explore new perspectives. Breaking free from stagnation is both a release and a rebirth. It's a letting go of what holds us back, coupled with an embrace of what lies ahead. By following the lizard's example, we learn that personal growth is not a straight path but a series of cycles of acquiring, releasing, and renewing. With each layer we shed, we move closer to our truest selves, unburdened by the weights we once carried. The lizard teaches us that to grow, we must be willing to leave behind parts of ourselves that no longer serve us. This is not always easy. It requires courage, self-reflection, and a willingness to face the unknown. But as we let go, we create space for something greater, something that aligns with who we are becoming. In this way, breaking free from stagnation is a process of liberation, a journey toward a life filled with greater meaning, freedom, and purpose. In embracing this lesson from the lizard, we learn to live with a spirit of openness, continually adapting, evolving, and moving forward. Each moment of letting go brings us closer to our true potential, illuminating a path of endless renewal and transformation. The lizard's quiet resilience is a reminder that we too can shed our old layers, stepping boldly into a life of authenticity, growth, and freedom. In Buddhism, the concept of interdependence teaches us that everything in life is interconnected. Every thought, action, and relationship has a ripple effect, touching others in ways we may not immediately realize. When a lizard appears in your home, it can serve as a subtle reminder of this interwoven reality, encouraging us to reflect on our relationships and the quality of our interactions with others. This small creature, quietly living within the ecosystem of our shared world, symbolizes the profound ways in which we're all bound to each other, calling us to consider the nature of our connections and the impact we leave on those around us. Take a moment to reflect on your relationships. Are they based on kindness, empathy, and mutual respect, or do they suffer from imbalance and unspoken misunderstandings? In our fast-paced lives, it's easy to take relationships for granted, assuming they will persist without much care. However, just as a garden needs regular watering and attention to thrive, our connections with others require nurturing to remain vibrant and healthy. The lizard's quiet presence encourages us to slow down, to consciously assess how we're contributing to our relationships, and to recognize any areas that may need healing or attention. In Buddhism, cultivating compassion is fundamental to building harmonious relationships. Compassion isn't just about feeling empathy for someone's struggles. It involves understanding, patience, and a willingness to listen without judgment. When we bring this attitude into our relationships, we create a space for deeper connection and mutual support. By acknowledging our shared humanity, we build bonds that go beyond superficial interactions, allowing us to see and value each person as they are. Ask yourself, are there relationships in your life that need more compassion? Perhaps there's a family member or friend who is going through a difficult time, and you've been too caught up in your own worries to fully engage with them. Or maybe a colleague has been distant, and rather than asking if something's wrong, you've simply assumed they're busy or uninterested. Reflecting on these connections through the lens of compassion encourages us to reach out, to listen more deeply, and to approach others with kindness. The concept of interdependence also reminds us that our actions have consequences beyond ourselves. Just as a lizard is part of an ecosystem, influencing and influenced by its environment, we too are part of a larger web of relationships. Our words, actions, and even our thoughts can impact those around us. When we act with kindness, patience, and integrity, we contribute positively to this web, creating a ripple effect that can inspire and uplift others. On the other hand, when we act out of anger or self-interest, we risk creating harm or perpetuating negativity. Recognizing this interconnectedness is an invitation to become more mindful of how we show up in our relationships. Consider a conversation with a loved one. If we approach this conversation mindfully, listening and responding with empathy, we're likely to foster a feeling of trust and connection. But if we're distracted, quick to judge, or dismissive, we may unintentionally create distance. In Buddhist teachings, this mindfulness in relationships is seen as an act of love and respect, a way to honor the interconnectedness that binds us to others. The lizard, by its very nature, is a creature of balance. It moves fluidly between light and shadow, warmth and coolness, adapting to its environment without causing disruption. This ability to maintain balance is something we can learn from when reflecting on our relationships. Are we creating balance in our interactions? Or are we too focused on our own needs and desires? Often, imbalance arises when one person gives more than they receive or when communication is one-sided. To foster meaningful connections, we must be willing to give and receive in equal measure, to listen as much as we speak, and to offer support without expecting anything in return. Interdependence also calls us to reflect on forgiveness and understanding. Relationships are rarely perfect. Misunderstandings, conflicts, and disappointments are inevitable. However, when we recognize the interconnectedness of all beings, we come to understand that holding on to resentment or judgment only harms us in the long run. Forgiveness, in this context, becomes an act of liberation, a way to restore harmony within ourselves and within the larger web of relationships. By letting go of grievances, we not only free ourselves but also allow others the space to grow and change. In a relationship where conflict has arisen, the appearance of a lizard might serve as a reminder to approach the situation with patience and understanding. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, we can take a moment to reflect, to consider the other person's perspective, and to respond with compassion. This mindful approach can transform tension into an opportunity for healing and growth, strengthening the bond rather than weakening it. Interdependence teaches us that we're never truly alone. Our thoughts and actions influence others, just as we are influenced by those around us. This awareness invites us to cultivate relationships that are supportive, compassionate, and enriching. It also reminds us to be mindful of the energy we bring into our interactions. Are we contributing positivity and understanding, or are we carrying negativity that could harm others? By bringing awareness to these questions, we can begin to act more responsibly and with greater integrity. Lastly, reflecting on interdependence means recognizing that each relationship, no matter how brief or casual, holds significance. Even a brief interaction with a stranger can leave an impact, whether through a kind gesture or a moment of empathy. The lizard's presence serves as a reminder to honor these moments, to recognize the value of every connection, no matter how small. By approaching each encounter with respect and kindness, we contribute to a more compassionate world. In Buddhist teachings, relationships are viewed as opportunities for self-discovery and spiritual growth. Each connection is a mirror, reflecting back aspects of ourselves that we may not see otherwise. The people in our lives challenge us, support us, and teach us lessons that contribute to our journey. When we view relationships through this lens, we come to appreciate their role in our lives, recognizing that they're not just sources of joy or companionship, but pathways to deeper understanding and personal evolution. The lizard, quietly moving within its interconnected environment, reminds us of our role in this vast web of existence. Each choice we make, each word we speak, ripples out into the world, touching others in ways we may never fully understand. By nurturing our relationships with kindness, balance, and compassion, we honor this interconnectedness, creating a foundation of harmony and support that benefits not only ourselves, but all those around us. Lizards, with their sharp awareness and keen alertness, embody the essence of living in the present moment. They respond instinctively to the world around them, entirely engaged in each movement, each shadow, and each shift in their environment. Observing a lizard can remind us of the power of being present, a simple yet transformative practice that can bring greater peace and fulfillment to our lives. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become distracted by worries about the future or regrets about the past. Our minds are often so cluttered with thoughts and concerns that we rarely experience life as it unfolds. The presence of a lizard serves as a gentle nudge to shift our attention back to the now, to reconnect with the here and now with a sense of awareness and acceptance. Living in the present doesn't require grand gestures or elaborate practices. It simply invites us to engage with life's smallest moments fully, whether it's savoring the warmth of the sun, listening to the sound of the wind, or feeling the earth beneath our feet. Being present allows us to experience the richness of life. The lizard, in its quiet attentiveness, teaches us that peace can be found in these small, often overlooked details. Mindfulness as a path to inner peace. Practicing mindfulness, whether through meditation, deep breathing, or simply paying attention, helps us cultivate this presence. When we focus on the present moment, We free ourselves from the burdens of past regrets and future anxieties. In this space of awareness, we can find inner peace and clarity, a sense of stillness that can be deeply grounding. By following the lizard's example, we learn to approach each moment with curiosity and openness, letting go of judgment and simply experiencing life as it is. For instance, try taking a few moments each day to practice mindful breathing. As you breathe in, notice the sensation of air filling your lungs. As you breathe out, feel the release. This simple practice anchors you to the present, helping you to let go of distractions and tune into the rhythm of your own being. When we cultivate this kind of awareness, we discover a wellspring of peace within ourselves, a calm that is always accessible, even amid life's challenges. Embracing the beauty of now, the lizard's way of living is a reminder that life unfolds in the present, not in the past or future. Each moment is an opportunity to experience joy, gratitude, and connection. By being fully present, we can appreciate the beauty around us, the laughter of loved ones, the colors of a sunset, or the quiet of a new morning. In this way, living in the present is not just a practice. It is a way of truly experiencing the wonder of life. So the next time you find yourself drifting into worries or regrets, think of the lizard. Take a deep breath, bring your awareness back to the present, and allow yourself to live fully in the moment. Each day offers countless chances to reconnect with this awareness, to find joy and peace right where you are. The lizard's presence is a call to embrace life's fleeting beauty and to find stillness, clarity, and contentment in the present. Incorporating the lizard's teachings into our daily lives can bring profound inner transformation. By embracing mindfulness practices and setting intentional routines, we realign ourselves with our true essence and nurture personal growth. These simple, yet powerful, daily habits allow us to let go of what no longer serves us, welcome new opportunities, and cultivate a deeper connection to the present moment. Start with mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness meditation is one of the most effective ways to foster inner transformation. Taking just a few minutes each day to sit quietly, focus on your breathing, and observe your thoughts without judgment helps you connect with your inner self. This practice of presence can calm the mind, release tension, and cultivate awareness. Like the lizard, who lives attuned to its surroundings, meditation teaches us to be present, to listen to the subtle cues of our inner world, and to respond with calm and clarity. To begin, find a quiet space and set aside 5 to 10 minutes. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and tune into the sensations of each inhale and exhale. Notice the thoughts that arise, but let them pass without holding on. This practice can ground you, helping you carry a sense of peace and awareness into the rest of your day. Connect with nature. The lizard's life is inseparable from its environment, adapting to the world around it with ease. We too can benefit from spending time in nature, as it has a unique way of grounding us and bringing perspective to our lives. Whether it's a walk in the park, time spent observing the sky, or sitting by a body of water, connecting with nature helps us reconnect with the world outside our daily stresses and concerns. As you spend time outdoors, allow yourself to observe without analyzing. Feel the earth, listen to the sounds, and breathe deeply. This act of immersion in nature's rhythm fosters a sense of unity and interdependence, reminding us of our place within the larger ecosystem. Set intentions through affirmations. Intentions are powerful tools for guiding inner transformation. By setting daily affirmations, we direct our focus toward growth and positive change. Affirmations can be as simple as, "I am open to new experiences," or "I release what no longer serves me." Repeating these affirmations each day helps us realign our actions with our values, empowering us to move forward with purpose. Like the lizard shedding its skin, these intentions encourage us to let go of outdated beliefs, fears, or habits that may be holding us back. Begin each day by setting an intention aligned with your goals. Perhaps write it down, repeat it aloud, or reflect on it in a quiet moment. This act helps ground you in your purpose and brings a sense of direction to your day. Reflect and embrace change. Incorporate time for reflection into your routine. Like the lizard, which moves forward only when necessary, Take time each day to pause and assess where you are on your journey. Reflect on any areas where you may feel stagnant or attached to the past. Ask yourself, what do I need to release to grow? This simple question can reveal insights that help you shed what no longer serves you, opening the way for new opportunities. By integrating these practices into daily life, you embrace the lizard's teachings of presence, renewal, and adaptability. Each day becomes an opportunity for transformation, allowing you to grow, release old patterns, and live with a greater sense of inner peace and fulfillment. The next time a lizard crosses your path, pause and remember, it's not just a random occurrence, but a gentle reminder of life's profound lessons. This small creature holds the wisdom of change, adaptability, and mindfulness, lessons we can incorporate into our own journeys. By embracing these teachings, we invite ourselves to live with greater awareness and to align more closely with our true purpose. This practice of living mindfully, adapting gracefully, and letting go of what no longer serves us brings depth, fulfillment, and a sense of harmony to our lives. The lizard's message is simple yet transformative. It teaches us to move through life with ease, to be aware of our surroundings, and to respond to change with openness rather than resistance. Just as the lizard instinctively adapts to its environment, we, too, are encouraged to cultivate flexibility when we're willing to let go of outdated habits, beliefs, and fears. We make space for new opportunities and experiences, opening doors to growth and self-discovery. Living this way allows us to engage with each moment fully, savoring the richness that life has to offer. As we go about our day-to-day lives, it's easy to overlook the subtle signs and messages the universe sends our way. But if we make a conscious effort to tune in, these moments can provide us with incredible insights and guidance. The lizard, moving silently and purposefully, invites us to approach life in a similar manner, to act thoughtfully, to listen to our intuition, and to cultivate a sense of stillness within ourselves. In doing so, we build resilience and inner peace, empowering us to navigate life's challenges with calm and clarity. We hope that these reflections have offered you a new lens through which to view the world. Each encounter, each moment holds a lesson, waiting for us to uncover it. The presence of the lizard serves as a reminder that wisdom often comes in the most unexpected ways. As you continue on your journey, remember to be open to the teachings that surround you, whether they come through nature, interactions with others, or quiet moments of reflection. If you found this exploration valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. By engaging with these practices, you're not only enhancing your own life, but also contributing to a more mindful and compassionate world. We're grateful for your presence, and we look forward to sharing more insights with you in the future. Thank you for joining us on this journey of reflection and discovery. May you walk forward with a heart open to change, a mind attuned to the present, and a spirit ready to embrace the wisdom the universe offers. May your path be filled with growth, clarity, and inner peace, and may each step lead you closer to a life of purpose and fulfillment.